So what drew me to this project was a brilliant script by Brian and Alex. I thought it was a deviously comic thriller that dealt with sexual politics, trust and betrayal, and had twists and turns that built like a high-stakes poker game. So my experience in working with Sherlock, Sherlock is a drama where there are lots of twists and turns, and you may be taken in one direction and then suddenly spun in another direction. I think probably my experience when I was working in magic has also been quite helpful, because I think part of Sharper is, I like to think, one big magic trick. And my job is to make you forget that it's a magic trick. And there are lots of moments in this film which sort of reveal themselves unexpectedly, which are brilliantly surprising and delicious. What I loved about being in New York was, what I remembered when I went there when I was younger, was that there was a feeling of, certainly in Manhattan, there was a feeling of claustrophobia, that sightlines are restricted, and I thought that was useful for a kind of tone and a feeling for the film, especially for our characters. And I wanted to not show a sort of postcard view of New York, but maybe a sort of more neo-noir version of New York, and again, always through the perspective of our characters. Well, firstly, my experience working with this cast is just a joy. I love all of them, and I'm so happy that we're all part of this film that we've made together. Julianne Moore is just box office. I think she is the best at what she does, and one of the reasons why I came to make this movie was because she was on board and she was playing Madeline. I think that John Lithgow and I have had a previous relationship. Well, John Lithgow and I have worked together on The Crown, and it was a great opportunity for us to work together again. We've stayed in touch since, and I think he is such a generous actor. I think he is just magnetic on screen. Sebastian, I love him as an actor. I think he is unpredictable. I think he's vulnerable. I think he's funny. And I think he brought so much to Max. Justice, I knew a little bit about, but now I just want to cast him in everything. I think he has this incredible vulnerability. He's the sort of, he has this heart. He's like the orphan in the story. He, in fact, has everything that everyone wants, but he doesn't actually want it. So we're really lucky to have Justice. And then Briana Middleton is just a star. And I'm so happy that we were here at the beginning of what is going to be an extraordinary career for Briana Middleton, and everyone is going to know her name. She has, in many ways, one of the hardest jobs to do in this film. There are many, many layers that she's playing throughout this film, and she does it brilliantly. Sharper is about how people flirt, how they talk, how they deceive, how they impersonate, how they behave in terms of what they want. It's less about crime and more about deception.
Yeah, I was drawn to how much of a wild ride this script is. I got through it all in one sitting, and that is very rare for me. Um, but I think that what made it different from other stories was that you never knew what was going to happen next. There's a lot of predictability in films nowadays. There's like a strict formula that a lot of people follow, and I feel like this film breaks a lot of those conventions, um, while also still being, a very honest depiction of humanity and our pursuit of money and power.
Yeah, I think that the twists and turns and the unexpectedness of it was very attractive. And for my character, I think just how much hope she has was what really made me love her.
It was the best. Oh gosh, I loved shooting in New York.
Yeah.
New York is like a second home to me. Um, I really tried to be present on set and leave a lot of the work at home. And I was able to do that because of how amazing this cast was. You know, all I had to do was look into another actor's eyes and play off of what I was receiving. And, you don't always get that grace on set. But there was just such a level of trust between this cast and with Ben, with our director. And I think that shows in the film. That's why we managed to achieve the authenticity that we did, was because we really trusted each other.
Yeah, cast and crew. I think it was just a good group overall, and the trust, I felt very taken care of. Multifaceted. You run into different kinds of New Yorkers that are so interested in what you're doing and not interested in what you're doing and also pissed off about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very nice.
There were a couple of locations that we shot at that I was like, oh, I didn't even know this existed in New York. Or maybe it's not even that I didn't know they existed, but, I'm not allowed in those areas. Not,
Like
I'm thinking of the billboard. But, that was such a magical night. And, there's something to shooting in the city that is undescribable.
Mm-hmm. He's amazing. He's like a big kid. I mean, he has such a love for film and such a curiosity. I mean, we shot on film for this, and that is so unpredictable. And him and Charlotta, our DP, just like leaned into it, and how fun that was. And same thing with how he approached working with us as actors. It was just fun and free.
Yeah, he gave us so much freedom.
Yeah.
He never directed you through like technicality. He always directed you through the heart and through character, which is how I work and how I appreciate working with others. But it's also rare today, I just can't. This is his first feature film.
Yeah.
Am I right?
I
can't
believe
wait
that.
to see the rest of his career because he's really special.
Yeah.
He's really special. I think it means someone who knows what they want and does whatever necessary to get it, for better or for worse.
Yeah, I would say taking advantage of, our natural psychology and how people are wired to get what they want, for better or for worse.
I was sent this script actually from my manager, who also represents the writers, and she said, I really want you to meet these guys, and I think you're going to love this script. And I read it, and it was so completely surprising, just utterly different than anything I'd seen in a long time. I was like, yes, I want to meet them. And we met. I said, I want to play this character. I love her, and let's put it together. Let's find a way to get this going. Because I thought that if I were this interested in this character, that everybody else would be, by the script, they'd be as compelled as I was. And I was right. We attracted all this amazing talent.
Yeah, it was an opportunity to work with Julianne, something I've always wanted to do, and then it was a great character movie. It was, unpredictable, and it was surprising and exciting in a way that I hadn't sort of read in a script before, and just getting to work with Ben also was really exciting. He had such a specific point of view of the movie, and I think it has to be that trifecta. I think it's that sort of leads to a great experience.
We were
It
so
was
lucky.
fun. Yeah. Everybody was kind of hanging out and smiling and laughing and, you know, supportive.
Yeah, and just an incredibly talented group. I mean, it's, you know, for me, the idea that you're in a story that's about people talking to each other and pursuing their agendas through their actions and conversations with one another, that's almost revolutionary in a movie, you know, because so often you see it kind of as action from the outside in. And these are people kind of affecting their own journeys through their relationships. And so we had all these really, really wonderful actors doing the specific and detailed and exciting work. And so to participate in that, to have all of us together doing that, I think we were all really thrilled to be there and with each other.
Yeah, well, I think we were both excited about that. And it was intense. I mean, also, I think for Ben, right, at times, because we were shooting, like, in the village, like, on Friday night. And, you know, it's like...
It's busy.
And in New York, you can't tell someone to walk on the other side of the street. They'll just walk wherever they want to walk, which is part of the character of the movie, you know. And I think we actually got some of that rawness in the movie as well.
And I think that, you know, New York is a place where there's a whole kind of strata of socioeconomic. You know, you have the very, very wealthy people, and then you have people who are really struggling to get by. And so that idea that it all exists in this very small place, that's very much what the movie is about that kind of, about every kind of life being encompassed. And there's also some anonymity, I think, in the city. You know, you don't know what people are up to. You don't know what's possible. So that, I can't think of another city that's quite like that, where there's that intensity. So yeah, I loved shooting it there, and I live there too, so that's good. Really great.
I mean, he's such a sweet, generous man, patient. I mean, incredibly in control. You know, in terms of just communicator, what he's looking for, but staying open to ideas.
He's a great storyteller too. I mean, he really knew who each of these characters were and how they would relate to each other, and what the possibilities were when he brought them together. You know, he's interested in the very, very human and very complicated. We were so lucky that he came aboard this project, and you know, as Sebastian was saying too, he's so incredibly kind and collaborative and fun. You know, we all had a really good time every day on set. His attitude is just wonderful.